Also,
Did you really buy another gas bottle or did you just bait me?
no, I was just missing a few.
Yeah, I knew you were baiting me.
You even saw my response, like they apparently looking for a gift to tune my gas bottle. I knew, no.
You're baiting me hard.
Yeah, we're gonna. How's it, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're currently on episode 2 of Triple Braai Pass. Today we've got some steak starters, some mains, and we've got some salsa, and we will be testing sauces on the steak. Have a good view, and please remember to like and subscribe.
And
let's
share.
get Braai.
And share that.
And share.
How's it, guys? So now we're going to be making the salsa, which we're going to be putting on our steak when we're ready to cook. The salsa we're going to be making today is a South African salsa called Ushatini. Well, it's a little bit of an amendment to the official Ushatini recipe. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I really hope that you give it a try. It is delicious. So this is our steak that we've got for today. It's another tomahawk, as you'll remember from our last episode, just pure deliciousness. And then for the Ushatini, need a couple things: a bowl, different kinds of herbs. I like the flavors that I like to mix. Is we've got some Italian parsley, we've got some basil, we've got some coriander, and then just to give it a bit of substance as well, we have some Mediterranean cucumber, some normal slicing tomatoes. I put a small squeeze of lemon in there, and then we give it a little bit of heat. We put some chilies. If you're really brave, we'll put a few chilies, and then it becomes a case of Ushatini garden. All right, and then just to give it a bit of flavor, we add some white wine vinegar, and I also put a little tad of white spirit vinegar as well. Cool, so what we're gonna need to do is give it a base as well of red onion. So I'm gonna start chopping some red onion now, and we will probably use, for this size bowl, I think we can get away with 1 onion and 1 tomato. So I'll start chopping all of this, putting it in the bowl. From the beginning, we'll start adding a bit of vinegar so that it can start seeping into all the herbs and the veggies and things that we're going to put inside there. And yeah, then we'll put it in the fridge for about half an hour before we're going to serve it. Just helps all the flavors set, helps the vinegar soak into everything. Cool, time to get chopping. Okay, so I've cut my tomatoes and my onions, so the onion is in the bowl, and I've chopped some chili, some cucumber, and some tomato. So I'm just going to add that to the bowl as well. I recommend leaving the seeds with chili in because they soak into the vinegar, and it just adds a bit of heat to the salsa. Otherwise, it's just a salad. Okay, so now we're going to add vinegar. I'm going to use white wine vinegar as the base, and I add, just for a little bit more kick, add a little dash of normal white spirit vinegar. So let's just squeeze quite a bit over here. Cool, that should be enough for now. We'll add a little bit more later when it goes in the fridge. And now we just put a dash of spirit vinegar, if I can get it open. Here we go. Just a dash of that to give it a kick. Cool, and now we're going to just chop up our herbs. Let's start with a bit of basil. I find the best way to cut these is to roll them up, otherwise you just bruise them and all the flavor stays on the chopping board and doesn't go into the salsa. So I'm just going to choose probably about 8 or 9 big leaves, and then just put them on top of each other. Take one more just for luck. Okay, then we just roll the leaves like a basil cigar. Cool, and then just open them up and sprinkle it in there. I think we'll add a little bit more as time goes by. And let's take some of this. This is some Italian parsley as well. We just want to dice this, so I'm just going to squeeze it up nice and tight, and then just run the knife through it. Cool, let's throw that in there. And then my personal favorite is some coriander. Let's just take a nice big bunch here, And again, same story, couldn't be bothered to take out the stalks. Just close it up nice and tight.
The stalks hold a lot of the flavor as well, so you
Yeah,
don't
there
have
is
to add it into the...
a lot of flavor in the stalks. Okay, let's cut up nice and tight as well. And then let's add that to the bowl. Okay, last little ingredient we're going to add is a dash of olive oil. Just helps everything stick together when we start turning it. Cool. Now you can get some tongs and turn it, but you're never going to get it done properly, so you have to get in there, COVID friendly, and just start getting the vinegar and the bits and pieces all mixed up. I think we're going to need another chili in here. Oman, can I ask you to cut another chili for us?
Sure. There's a spoon for you as well. Red or green?
Let's get some green chili in here. We've got a red chili ready. Cool. Let's get all the bits and pieces off. Cool, we can sprinkle that in there.
Sorry.
Cool, this is going to have some kick to it. That's Armand's idea of cutting a chili. Someone's going to be sore.
You want it whole, so there's a bit of a bite.
There's going to be a little snooker in here. Okay, cool. So now we're going to stick this into the fridge. Before we do, I'm going to put a bit more vinegar on the top, just to soak through. So white wine vinegar is not as harsh as your normal spirit vinegar, and it's got a very different flavor to it. So it goes really well with the Ushatini salsa that we're making. And I'm also going to add just a small squeeze of lemon, just for a little bit of acidity in here. With a bit of flavor of apple watch as well. Cool, and now we're going to stick this in the fridge. Let's give it a good half an hour or so just to soak and get the flavors everywhere before we put it on our steak.
Cool, thanks Dave for showing us how to make your Ushatini. I still need to work on my pronunciation, but I'll get there. Guys, so for today's meat, we've got Dave's tomahawk and I've got some chuck. So I've got, for the piece of chuck I've got, it's nice and big, but it's quite thinly sliced as well. So this is going to be our starter for today. I'll spice it with some olive oil and spice, and olive oil and just some coarse salt. Get two different variations of it. Chuck is from the cow, it's from just behind the neck and its chest area. It's your cheaper meat. Most people don't like it because it's a bit chewy and it's typically used in a stew. But if you braai it just right and eat it off a fire, it is the best. So I'll start off with that and then I'll move on to a tomahawk. So I've got 4 big pieces over here. As I said, this is typically our starter and we will eat it off a braai, probably burning our fingers and our esophagus. But that's part of the process and part of the fun. Just a bit of olive oil onto each one.
Now, Armand, tell me, this week you've got clean fingers. What happened last week that your fingers were so dirty when you were spicing steak?
No comment. I'm not sure why I put half a bottle of spice went missing. Oh, sorry, you're referring to the... Sorry guys, so last week we went 4x4ing first. And I like pushing the limits of my bucky and seeing how far I can go. And I got stuck. First time getting stuck, not the last time. But it was quite good fun. But we had to take the bucky out, and that's why Dave and our fingers were a bit red from the mud and clay. Okay, so back to the steak. So I put olive oil into each steak. I've rubbed it in. So I'm going to do 2 of salt and 2 of spice. Just gently, the spice, salt one, you can rub it in.
What salt is that? Is that normal salt?
It's just your pink Himalayan salt, but it's coarse. The only salt I had in the cupboard, truthfully speaking, so that's what you get. I'm just put some homemade spice onto the other 2 pieces. Guys, for me it's quite important to rub it in. It just gets the olive oil and the spice mixed up and gets it bonding to the steak. Now it's time to flip. Some more olive oil. rubbing it in again. Some salt. So as you guys can now see on the close-up, the chuck is nicely, I wouldn't say glazed, but covered in olive oil and spice, looking all shiny and ready for fire.
Being a thin cut of steak, how long does that one need?
It depends who you are. I like my steak to be quite pink, but because it's quite thin, it'll just be about a minute outside of the fire and it'll be ready to eat. For a tomahawk, they'll be much longer because it's a much thicker steak, so we need time to cook it all the way through. For a tomahawk, we'll use the Weber's lid, so that it builds heat up into Weber and we cook from the top and the bottom. With this, we can just have it on the open flame, minutes aside, and we can eat it. So with the chuck, which we're using, this is from the cow, it's just behind the neck and basically the chest of the cow. It's a cheaper meat. Often not many people buy it or use it for stew only because it's a bit of a chewy meat, but if you spice it right and grind it and eat off the fire, it is the best. It's got a lot of fat in it, and it's got quite a bit of webbing as well. That's where all the flavor comes from. One of our favorite meats. So put it on for about a minute now, and just going to flip it, and just look at that. So this, as I said, it's about a minute and a half aside, and then we eat it off the fire, and it's quite a nice snack. Typically our starter, and when we've done it, we've done 2 with olive oil and salt, and we've done 2 with olive oil and our homemade spice. Oh, and also another thing is, the spot we skipped because we didn't think about it, but before we put the chuck on, we clean the braai. We typically clean the braai with half an onion. It's the only thing you need to clean the braai. Cut it in half, run it along the grill. Cleans 99.9% of all germs. Combine with the heat to give it extra 0.1%, and you've got a clean braai. Works, I promise.
Confirmed by dermatologists.
How's it, guys? So, we being impatient as we are, we're going to take a piece off for now and test it out. So, the previous piece we're going to take off is going to be a sparse piece. I'm going to flip it, so the juice come out, and then there we go. As you can see, nicely cooked. Well, both these all very cooked.
Next week, we're going to be doing hardy dal.
Next week, we're doing hardy dal. So, it's going to cut it into strips.
Oh, look at that.
It is hot.
Beautiful.
Guys, as I said, this is perfect salsa. Cut into pieces, put it on a chopping board, take it to all your guests, your family, your friends. You'll be your favorite one, I promise. Just a small bit of spice. And guys, so now for a brisket, we decided to get some sauces with a brisket. So, got 4 different sauces. 3 sauces are from a place called House Benjamin. They're located in Johannesburg, and they actually make their own jalapeno sauce to fund their facilities to help drug addicts recover. So shout out to House Benjamin. We've got another sauce here from Dave, which is a nice chili sauce, which we'll try out. So first we'll try this sauce. I can't see the names, I'm not going to read it out to you. But it's quite a nice chili sauce. So we'll just put a bit onto the board for now.
Is that like a sweet chili, spicy sweet chili?
It's, I wouldn't say sweet chili, but it's a tiny bit spicier than sweet chili. So that one. Then the next one we've got the Blazing Buffalo. This is quite a sweet barbecue sauce with a bite at the end of it. So add a bit of that as well. Then next up we have the third sauce. This is quite a sweet sauce actually. I think in the future we'll try this with pork or pork ribs as a basic and see how it goes.
And where did you buy these sauces from?
These were from the farmer's market in Pretoria. So they only have stalls in Pretoria, unfortunately. But the guy says if we ever need more, he can courier some down.
And then the peri peri sauce that is from Farm to Fork in Umdloti.
I'll try that out as well.
Oh.
Chunky, I really like it. Cool, guys, so now we'll eat grab a bit of steak, piece dig in, and we'll try
Cool.
each sauce.
Alrighty.
Hook the big cheese up here by the camera. Let's go. I'm going to try some peri peri. Oh, look at that.
Let's try the barbecue one. It's a lovely barbecue sauce. It does have the kick in the end though. Beautiful.
It's actually not a hot peri peri sauce at all.
It's flavoursome.
Very flavoursome, yeah.
I quite like the buffalo one.
Let's have a go. This is the buffalo one here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Just look at that.
Yeah, so normally we don't have sauces with our steak, but this is a starter. So ideally, you can get a big chopping board, get a few small bowls. So you can cut the steak into strips, put your sauce into bowls, and take it around to your guests. So put it in the middle of the table. Each guest can take some sauce, can take a piece of steak, dip it into the sauce, and try it out. Quite a nice little thing to add to your braai.
Okay guys, we are back at the grand finale time where we're going to put our tomahawk steak on the fire. Armand is going to be spicing it for you and going to talk through that. Just to talk about this piece of meat before we do, this came from Farm to Fork in Ushatini, and they cut it for me, they did everything there, and it was the best cut that we could get, and they have always done a sterling job. So Armand is going to talk you through our normal spice routine of the olive oil and spice.
On this last thing, Dave will be talking.
And you might also see on the side here, we've got our fire stoked really, really hot. And we need to get that temperature up in the Weber so that we can cook the steak through. As you can see, it's quite a thick steak. And there's quite a lot of fat on the outside, quite like me. So we need to get that fat cooked off nicely.
And a sugar bowl of a cherry wood.
And we've put the cherry wood in, as Armand said earlier. So the cherry wood is busy cooking nicely and it's going to start smoking this. So we will hopefully get some cherry flavors coming through the steak. And Armand's going to cover everything around the steak in olive oil so that we can get that fat nice and crispy. And then once we put the steak on, we'll put the lid on as well so that we can cook the steak through. Being quite a thick steak, it will need quite a while. So as the steak goes on as well, Brian's going to take the stand here and he's going to walk through his garlic bread, which I believe he's got sourdough today. And we're going to put that in the oven as well for about 15 or 20 minutes. So it should hopefully finish in time for the steak, and then we can eat straight off the fire, which is the best place to eat. Oh, look at that.
Just how I like it.
That is ready.
Cool, Dave, do you want to put it on? Sorry, let me get a grill for you.
Yeah, let's get the grill and
You
then
can put it on
we'll
the-
slap this tomahawk on. Oh, look at that.
Note, we got our cleaning onion.
The only thing you need.
That looks delicious. Okay, so I'm going to just slap this straight on the fire. And
So guys, we're going to do something different today. We've just had our delicious chuck starter. Thank you so much, Armand and Dave, for that. Today we're going to be making some garlic bread. So we've got 4 ingredients to make the garlic bread. Most importantly, we have our sourdough. This is especially from Farm to Fork in Ushatini, so shout out to them, thank you so much. Sourdough, it's a very yeasty bread, so if you smell it, it's definitely got that heavier yeasty smell. Brilliant for garlic bread. Then we have 3 other ingredients. Number 1, we have our Italian parsley. Number 2, obviously our crushed garlic. And lastly, we have our salted butter. The salted butter, it's best if it's at room temperature. Maybe a rookie error on our side, it's just not quite right yet, but it's going to be perfectly fine for what we need to do. You don't want to put the salted butter in the microwave because it just changes the texture of the butter and it just isn't right then. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut the bread, and let's just put it up here. We're going to be cutting it at roughly 45 degrees and at some very thick slices, nobody likes a thin sliced garlic bread. Right, so what you want to do is you want to go around 3/4 of the way through the bread. There we go. Just so that you can add all your delicious sauces once you've mixed them together to go in between there, to go in the oven.
Nothing better than a homemade garlic bread.
Sourdough garlic bread.
Extra
Okay.
garlic.
I'm going to join in on the side here and help Brian chop the parsley. Let me grab a knife. Just squeeze it on the side.
Thanks, Dave.
I also think we need to check our tomahawk as well. So Armand, if you wouldn't mind checking our tomahawk
No problem. Do you have tongs on?
on the corner.
Thank you. I wish
Okay.
you guys can see the tomahawk, but
Oh, yes. Smells
Smelling.
delicious.
delicious.
Okay, so for any herbs that are going to go into garlic bread, you want them very fine. You don't want to. Oh,
I'm
my
just
word.
going to leave it open for 5 minutes just to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's looking so good.
I didn't even know if I want herbs anymore. Look at that.
Guys, there's our garlic bread incisions.
Very well sliced there, Brian. Okay, so I'm going to chop this really, really fine. You don't want to have big pieces of herbs in your garlic bread. At the end of the day, it's a garlic bread, not a herb bread. The herbs just add a very nice extra flavor. I think that'll be enough. And I'm going to run the knife through it one more time just to make it nice and fine.
Hey guys, and you know, we hope you enjoy these videos. You know, this is our own personal preferences when it comes to braaiing. Through trial and error, this is what we find works the best, and hoping it helps you guys as well.
Cool, so these herbs are nice
Yeah.
and fine now, and
Thanks,
they're ready
Dave.
to add.
Alrighty. What we're going to do is we're going to put a really big dollop of garlic. You must always be generous, especially during a pandemic.
You can never have enough garlic.
There we go. Look at
Yes.
that. Alrighty, we're going to put that in our mixing bowl. And we're just going to...
You might have to mix it with the spoon there, because we didn't take our butter out the fridge in time, so it's still a little bit solid, so we're going to have to give it a bit of TLC to get it to mix nicely. I'm going to also try adding the herbs while Brian mixes.
Brian, could I maybe get you a fork? Would it help you?
that would
Yeah,
be
I think a
awesome.
fork is probably a better idea.
Oh, that's looking good though.
So hopefully you guys can get this in the wine.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So we've just taken our tomahawk off the fire, probably a minute too late. We've got a little bit of crispiness, but
Nothing wrong
that's,
with
but that's
crispiness.
all good. It's going to be nice and crunchy. So Armand's going to take the tomahawk off the bone, and then we're going to cut it into some slices. And as you can see here, the Ushatini has come out the fridge. We've given it a nice mix, added a little bit of salt and pepper to it, and given it a nice mix again. And that's ready to have with some slices of steak.
Oh, look at that.
I'm
Let's get
leaving a
close-up
small
of
piece
that.
of bone on, just on the end. Don't want to cut too much of the steak, but
So let's cut a couple slices, and then let's have some Ushatini. This is still my first beer from when we started.
Thanks, Pinocchio.
As you can see, still nice and pink on the inside, cooked to perfection,
That's beautiful.
juicy. I thought was Dave's special mix, and we'll try it out.
You want to make sure you get a bit of chili, so you get a bit of heat on it when you chow it. What's nice is the steak is just off the fire, so it's really hot, but the Ushatini has been out the fridge, so it's quite cold. So it allows you to eat the really hot steak and protect your esophagus on the way
So
down.
I'm gonna just seal the bone because that's the best piece. Now Dave booked it this time, so it says, Brian, off to you.
Lovely.
Okay, down the hatch it goes.
Don't burn your esophagus again.
I'm gonna actually just chop mine in half first. Oh wow. There we go.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Dripping with goodness. You kind of need a straw to drink this. It's that good.
Your garlic bread.
No, we're gonna grab it now.
Awesome.
There's just so many flavors here. You can definitely taste all the herbs and yeah, there's definitely some chilies in here.
Oh, that fat looks so crispy and juicy.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna pop out of the photo for a bit. We're gonna go check on that garlic bread.
You can see that we've got a very nice consistency with this tomahawk as well. Still nice and pink and red in the middle. Super juicy. And nice and crispy on the outside. So today we've got a guest who's going to join us, and she'll be on shortly. Christy, which is Armand's girlfriend, and she's going to come and join us for a slice of steak and some Ushatini.
Right, so we've just cut our garlic bread. I'd love to show you all that beautiful malted garlic bread. Look at that. Give it a bit of a squeeze. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that crunch.
Man, that is amazing.
Right, so get some. Dig in, guys. Trying to steal my garlic bread here.
Of course.
Oh, that sourdough garlic bread just adds a new depth to the garlic bread that you're used to. It's just delicious. And then, like I said earlier, don't waste your Ushatini. Spoon it on top. Down the hatch. Oh,
Look at that.
that is so good.
Oh, almost got trapped, guys. Look at the size of that.
The special chili's been sitting here. I think it's time for it to go. Let's do it. It's like an apple, man. Okay. Cool, guys. As you can see, we've got pretty much nothing left. We're gonna just finish nibbling on what little garlic bread we've got left and putting heapfuls of Ushatini on top. But we hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you might have learned something from what we've done today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate you guys watching. And then, yeah, in our next episode, we're going to be going to Brian's place and we are going to be trying something new. So we hope that you join us for that video. Enjoy.